Hail, and welcome back to Elder Futhark Rune Divination 101. Today we will be discussing the first rune on the second 8, also sometimes referred to as Heimdall's 8 by some. These runes will be of a different nature in many cases compared to the runes that are discussed in the first 8. They will be perhaps less and more primal in their nature. They will be more sophisticated, and at the same time they will represent forces that are known universally to each and every individual, every living, breathing creature. Hagalaz is the rune that we will be discussing today. The rune of disruption. So, before we begin, as you may hear, I am a bit hoarse and I am speaking in a rather bombastic tone, I suppose. I have been practicing Galder, or word magic, as they call it, throughout the night. It is at this present time 2 p.m. in my local time. It has been an all-nighter for me, so I am also rather tired, but I feel great, I feel empowered. I in fact felt so empowered after my ritual, after the things I did with my gods, that I decided to, write the script for this video and just, went with it, because this energy that flows through me right now, it's too powerful not to share with you. So thank you all for joining me once again in this series, and hail to each and every one of you. I thank you for the attention, for the kind words that you have spoken so far. I promised some of you some other videos on some other topics. Please be assured, I have not forgotten this. It is still coming. There have simply been other matters, spiritual matters, that I had to attend to, that I had to how shall we put this, that I had to advance in, that I had to gain power and gain influence in, if you will. There is also a message that I have for a individual whom I call friend. A message for this individual shall be included at the end of the video, because we currently have no means to communicate, so this is the way I shall do it. It shall be at the end of it, as I said. It shall be something that will only be relevant to the individual it is aimed at, so when I make the announcement that this video shall end, feel free to, click it away. And yeah, you will obviously just not really understand what it is about, because I have left out personal details, I have left out, certain things. I have kept it vague on purpose. It will simply not make sense to you if you're not the individual I am referring to. So, I would say to you, please join me in this video, and when that portion of the video arrives, then I shall simply see you on the next video. Now, so, if you are ready, I am as well. We shall be discussing the rune Hagalaz, the rune of disruption, the rune of resistance, the rune of hail. So, Hagalaz, the rune, it means weather, disruptive forces. It means disruption of many things. It represents obstacles. It means interference, opposition to one's goals and objectives. It represents our modern letter H, as you may, in this case, recognize from the way it looks. As a result, it also has no reverse, so we will only be discussing 2 portions of the side of the runes, converse and upright, because there is, again, no reverse due to its shape. The associated astrological sign for this particular rune is Aquarius. Hagalaz's elements would be ice, and therefore, as usual water, because ice is frozen water. So the associated gods with this rune are Urd, Himdall, and Scotty. Actually, I feel that is a very good connection to make to her, because she is, among other things, Lady of Frost, Lady of Snow, Lady of those elements. So, because Hagalaz is hail, hail is frozen water. Therefore, she is a appropriate goddess to add to the list of gods that this rune is associated with. So, yes, Hagalaz is a very powerful rune in the Eight. It signifies many things. It is trials, tribulation, challenges, blockages. Hagalaz is the opposing force that we all face throughout our lives. It is what we need to grow, to understand, to thrive. It is what we need to overcome not just opposition, but also ourselves, our own fears, our own weaknesses, our own worries. It is representing the challenge that we have. It is the hailstorm that we must weather. It is the cold bite of hail, the frozen rain, which can do serious damage. And usually hail is not that dangerous. However, as with all things, when one is careless in their actions, careless in their moves, careless in their intent, let themselves be blinded by pride, then Hagalaz can become a very dangerous thing, because it is still the hailstorm. It blocks sight, and therefore if one is not cautious, when one does not look out for oneself and for those one loves, for those one cares about, one seeks to protect. However, the hailstorm, while not usually dangerous unless we be blinded by pride, it can still be restricting, it can still be constricting, it limits your movement, it limits your sight, as mentioned. It can sometimes be overpowering if the hail is big enough, or the hail fall is dense enough. You might have to, if you are driving, stop your car. You might have to, seek shelter if the hail is too painful for you. It is not dangerous usually if you act with prudence, if you act with intelligence, if you understand the danger that it represents, you will overcome. However, it is also the things we fear in our lives, as mentioned. It is the opposition we encounter in reaction to our actions, to our plans, to our goals, to our ambition. There is disruption, delay, destruction even, because, make no mistake, hail can in some cases destroy if one, as I said, is not careful. It is the storm which clouds one's vision, leading to accidents and foolhardy behavior, as I mentioned. It is pride that will usually lead to your downfall in such situations, not the storm itself. So, with that said, we now come to Hagalaz upright and what it means in terms of divination. Hagalaz upright, it is a indicator, usually, when seen in a rune spread, in a rune casting, of upcoming, present, or past upheavals, obviously, depending in the position in the spread it takes. It is, signifying that your current course of action in some way, shape, or form involves disruption or, countermeasures, counterbalance, counterweight, some force in some way, shape, or form, not necessarily from people or nature. It can be a lot of things that may work against you. It can just be some bad luck or, ill timing or whatever. It represents opposition, basically. Let that be clear. Hagalaz is disruption. It is simple as that. It is something that you will find when people are asking about plans, about past struggles. It is something that you will find often appearing in readings where someone is expecting too much, and this rune then will signify that there is struggle ahead in order for you to reach your goal, because the opposition is still present and it must be overcome in order to reach that goal, or perhaps even to show that the opposition is in more extreme cases too much currently for you to handle. However, as always, the context of the question, the intuition of the reader, you guys, is important to obviously signify the context of it. Basically, it is up to you to interpret it in the manner that seems fitting to the reading, to the person, to the energy that you're getting from it. So use your intuition, use it with prudence, and I would advise you to not go all doomsday on your querent, because oftentimes what people need in such situations is not to hear doom and gloom. What they want to hear is, there is a challenge, okay, this is what you can do to circumvent it, this is what you can do to overcome it, this is what the runes around the rune of Hagalaz tell you, this is what's going on, this is what you're asking about, this is what the future can bring if you continue on this path, and this is what the outcome will be, and here is how you can best achieve your most benevolent or positive outcome, I should say, excuse me. So, obviously not every struggle that one has can be overcome solely through the force of will of a single individual. There is a need for aid sometimes in overcoming struggles, and this is not, a shame. To not accept help is pride. So when a querent seems to be facing a struggle that they cannot themselves overcome, and you feel that they might have to call in aid, it is up to you to, clarify this to them, help them with it, point them in the right direction if you happen to know something about the situation, if you have some manner of expertise on it. No matter what it is, it could be, magical, it could be spiritual, it could be, well, obviously those two go hand in hand in several ways. It could be, just finances, it could be work related, it could be love, family, you name it, basically. So it can be about pretty much anything. Again, up to the prudence of the reader, you guys. So, maybe, the struggle that you're facing in and of itself can be referred to by Hagalaz. The need to accept help in and of itself can be Hagalaz, because some people may not understand that their own issues are caused by pride and an unwillingness to seek help, to reach out for help and assistance of other people. So, Hagalaz, upright. To give you guys an example, let's say that you are reading for someone, right? And they were asking about material needs. This individual, he or she, has been carefully spending money left and right, now wishes to consult you for a reading on what will happen. And they come to you and they go like, oh yeah, I've been spending my paycheck here and there and bought a new car and blah blah blah, to name some extreme. But they have been careless with money, that's the bottom line. So they come to you, and in such a case, it is likely that if the querent has not taken any other action in the meantime to generate extra income or extra wealth, obviously, that Hagalaz will appear in a manner that would, showcase that there is disruption or setback occurring. That there is a challenge that must be met to either generate more money or to, just suffer the consequences of their stupidity, if you may, if you will. And oftentimes in such a situation, you would obviously see the Rune of Fehu in reverse or something like that, or converse, depending on the context. If there are possibilities for the querent to generate more money, it is likely to be converse, because hidden wealth and all that, and reverse if it is a loss of finances or a loss of wealth or something like that. So that's just to give you a basic principle of it. If it is in the outcome slot, it will likely signify, in this case, that the end result will be that they're just going to have to, deal with the consequences of their action. If it is in the challenge slot, it might be more likely to be interpreted in a manner that signifies that they have to overcome it, but that in the end it is quite possible that they will be all right in terms of their finances, and hopefully learn their lesson in the process of managing their finances, of properly managing their funds. So, Hagalaz upright, its spiritual meaning. Now, as always, these are, meditations that are of my own personal gnosis, if you will, my own personal revelations, my personal insights into it. And as always, these meanings are different for different people. But, to me, in a spiritual context, Hagalaz is the trials and tribulations we all endure. It is, regardless of our own choices, or if it is the choices of others, or if it is no one's choice and it is just an act of nature, as it were, it signifies opposition, it signifies disruption. It involves the consequences of actions taken, but it also involves the power to overcome it. Because, eventually hail, it just melts and it turns to water. Now, of course, some people might find water and rain and stuff like that extremely unpleasant. I am not one of them. I personally greatly enjoy hail and water, which is fitting because I kind of enjoy a challenge, And, I'm a water sign, so it might just be that I enjoy getting wet. It involves the opposition we may face from others, as we pursue our spiritual path. It can involve, for example, jealousy that we have to deal with from other people, envy. There might be envious of our growth, envious of the successes we have attained, of, happiness we have achieved, to refer back to the previous video we made on Wunyo, or I made on Wunyo, and where we discussed this rune. So, it could be many things. In the case of that, I would say, in such a case of pride or envy or jealousy, it would be an excellent opportunity for you to grow even further, because that's always the point of opposition, right? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's the old saying, and that is certainly true in the case of Hagalaz. It's usually not that big of a deal in the end, but it can be if you let yourself, be distracted or influenced to such a degree that you are becoming blinded by the opposition. So it is prudent, for example, if someone is acting to you in such a way that you, remain friendly, but that you also carry yourself with a confident manner. You have to not let yourself be burdened by, the actions of such individuals, or a singular individual, whatever the case may be. That is, however, not to say that one should just, walk away and, leave them. So, it is sometimes the case that other people may, for example, if they're envious or jealous, like I said, they may do things behind your back without provocation from you that will result in potential harm to you. Of course, in such a case, when people do these things, obviously before you go running to anyone else, it is prudent that you walk up to these individuals once you find out that they're doing things, to face them and say, hey, it has come to my ears that you have been doing such and such, that you have been gossiping about me, slandering my name or whatever. And if they are unwilling to respond to situations, then it is time to, take the next step. That is not always easy for people to do, but it is absolutely necessary that you do it. Now come to Hagalaz in Converse. Hagalaz in Converse, when it appears in a reading, it always depends on the slot in which it lands, obviously. But it can have several different meanings, as usual. And there's always a element of secrecy to Converse Hagalaz. It is always about hidden trials, always about hidden dangers, hidden manipulations, hidden lies, hidden traps, almost, if you will. When Hagalaz appears in a reading in Converse, it usually means that the person asking for a reading, the querent, is not familiar with the danger. It is not familiar danger to them. It is just not something that they will see coming. And it is up to you, obviously, to have your intuition figure out what that might be. Obviously, the surrounding runes will always tell you something about it, but I would recommend caution, just like with the interpretation of upright Hagalaz, because, like I said, always focus on the positive in a reading and never on the negative, because the querent comes to you for counsel, for guidance, knowing what to do, not to have a message of, oh, there's hidden danger, you must beware, and blah blah blah. Yes, that's the case, they must beware. Okay, great. How must they beware? Why must they beware? Where is it going to come from? Who is it going to do, if anyone is responsible for it? Are they responsible for it? If so, why? How? When? Try to figure these things out. Try to help them as much as possible. Play psychologist with them if you have to, if you're licensed to do it, if you're qualified to do it. Play, motivational counselor if you must. It can mean many things. It can mean that it actually, much like Converse Wunyo, it can, have an element of secrecy in the sense of interpersonal relationships, of friendship, of family, of love, hidden secrets, hidden lies. But I would say in the case of Hagalaz, it is oftentimes more a destructive secret than Converse Wunyo is, because of the nature of Hagalaz compared to the nature of Wunyo, because Wunyo is a benevolent rune in most cases, and Hagalaz is always a rune of caution, of being on the defensive, of plowing through opposition. Yes, that is both defense and attack. I am aware of this, but that is exactly what it is supposed to represent. It is you defending and then going on the offensive to overpower that which stands against you. So it is quite simply, what is hidden beneath the surface. It could mean a love affair. It could mean that your best friend is gossiping about you and that they're just not as true of a friend as you thought they were. It could be that they, the individual that is asking the questions of you, the querent, is trying to, attain finances, but that there is a hidden element to, attaining those finances because there's some sort of blockage or some sort of hidden trap or secret that they're not aware of. So, Hagalaz in Converse, an example. If someone is coming to you and they're asking about receiving a promotion or a raise or whatever, something work related basically, they'll ask this of you, will I get a promotion because I've been working really hard? Will I get a raise because I've been working really hard? I've been working overtime, blah, blah, blah. I've been kissing my boss's backside for, So, you do that and you cast the runes for this individual. And this rune comes up as the challenge. In this case, it would mean that there is a hidden danger. Now, to come back at the the point of gossiping, for example, a coworker that you thought you could confide in, someone who you considered sort of a friend, they have been gossiping about you behind your back at work, and they have been slandering you because they wanted this promotion for themselves. It wasn't necessarily because they hated you or because they didn't like you. They just, it's competition. It's just something that apparently happens sometimes. All right, and so that's just something that happens. Sometimes you'll encounter people who function that way, and this is something that you need to inform the client of, obviously, because it is standing in the way of their goal. It is unjust, and thus it must be dealt with in a prudent manner. And whatever that prudent manner is depends on the situation. You must look at that with the client, look at it with your intuition. Yes, I keep reiterating that, because that is obviously very important. Hagalaz in converse, the spiritual meaning. The hidden nature of the spiritual world in these times is, it's ever present, because there are so many layers of deceptions and half-truths and lies and misinformation about spirituality, about spirits. There is such a deception these days regarding certain aspects of life that you have to wonder about, that you have to ponder. There is hidden meaning and there is turmoil beneath the surface that one must be able to pierce if one wishes to advance on a spiritual path. It is therefore always prudent that one approaches the essence of a converse Hagalaz with an open mind. Look below the surface and do not be afraid to find what you will find. Go into it with a mind that is willing to receive all answers regarding of what it is. It is usually not as bad as you fear. Trust me. For example, those who are content with their religions without actually investigating what they believe in, without knowing their holy texts, and no, I'm not specifically referring to a single religion, I'm referring to all of them. I am referring to just in general, explore what you believe, explore that which you claim to stand for. Know what it is that you believe and why you believe it. Why do you follow this? Why do you follow that? Why do you hold a certain opinion, regardless of whether that is about religion or politics or whatever? It is so very important in these times because there is so much information around and not all of it is true. There is quite simply too much that remains hidden, that remains dormant below the surface in these days. Any true seeker of spirituality, any true seeker of, what it's like to be a spiritual being will come to understand this sooner or later. And they will understand why and how. It will not be comfortable for those who seek. It will always hurt. It will always be about breaking apart the old, throwing it away and replacing it with something better. And sometimes you can keep some of your old. Sometimes it serves a purpose. Sometimes it is good. Sometimes it is healthy to keep some of your old habits because they serve, because they are righteous, because they are proper, because they are strong, they are good, they are healthy, yes. And in those cases, obviously, there's no need to strip it away, but this rune involves hidden knowledge. That is what occult means, obviously. And it is hidden for a reason. And I would suggest anyone to dig into occult secrets, because there are many, many spirits out there, not all of them that well known to mankind, that can impart knowledge, wisdom, and true power. I mean, ask yourself questions. Questions that everyone must ask themselves at one point in their life if they are sincere in seeking spiritual matters. What if you're wrong? What if everything that you believe in, your entire foundation, is built upon a lie? What if everything that you stand for is not the thing you thought it was? Is that a frightening concept to you? Why is it a frightening concept to you? Do you think that a truth is going to be more painful than a comforting lie in the end? Or will it be the case that you would rather have the truth and are willing to face a few moments, a few days, a few weeks, perhaps even a few years of pain in order to gain a beautiful truth? A truth that is truly beautiful, a truth that is not based on lies, a truth that is not based on falsehoods and false promises. Will you feel at times that your entire support structure collapses around you? Yes, it will. It will hurt. And yes, it will be painful for everyone around you to see you change your ways. It will be painful for them because you have the strength to do something that they do not. It is painful because they will pity you for changing beliefs, for changing what they have been taught is right and true. It is something that can be harnessed, however, that pain. It can be harnessed and transmuted, as they say, into something good. It will be transmuted into something good in the end, because you are all divine beings, you are all spiritual, powerful people. You are all people that have the capability to be so much more than what you thought you were, every single one of you. And I'm not just talking to, you guys because you're watching me or anything. I'm talking to every single individual on this entire planet. So, what does that involve? It involves facing your darkest fears. It involves facing the possibility you may be wrong, as I stated. But it involves more than that. It involves, as they say, to know thyself. Not just thyself, but know the world around you. Know what happens, know why. Know where things come from, know why things are the way they are, as I have stated before. But the most important thing for every seeker is to know what's in here and to know what's in here. Understand that not everything that you think, not everything that you feel is truly you. Understand that not everything you have been led to believe are truly your core values, not your true values. And even core values can change over time. It is something that is necessary. It is transmutation of the self. A very powerful rune Hagalaz confers to help us find, to search, and to destroy any and all negative things. It is a purifying, cleansing force, which Hagalaz always is. It is always a cleansing force for those who have the power to stand against it. And, as I said, only those who are foolish do not have the power to stand against it, because they think they have absolute power to stand against it. They think that they cannot fail because of pride. And in the end, such transmutation of the self, such transmutation of your beliefs, and this goes for both sides of Hagalaz, it serves to transmute, it serves to empower you, and not just you, but the people around you, the people that rely on you, the people that you can even bring to a path, to some knowledge. Of course, it is up to them to, follow that path, but you can point them towards it. And at the last, converse Hagalaz sometimes just means that things don't always go the way we want them to. Now, as I stated in the beginning of this video to one of my viewers, I have a special message. This may seem strange to you, to, you know, the rest of my viewers. You may, if you are not the individual that I am speaking to, because the individual will know who they are, you may turn off the video if you wish, because the Rune Divination 101 is at an end here. This is just a message I have included for this individual specifically. The next rune we will be discussing is Notice. And I will say hail to you, and I hope to see you on the next video. First off, my friend, I would like to bless you. Bless you with a long and healthy life. I would really like to, you know, bless you with happiness. I would really like to bless you with, you know, the blessings of the gods, basically. I wish to bless you with, you know, as a brother. We do not know each other personally, but we have spoken. And know that I am sorry for what you're going through. I am not happy with the things you're going through right now. I would say to you, be blessed, my friend, and I hope you live a long, happy, and healthy life. I really do that. I do mean that. I really do. It is my wish that the path you're on, that it may be a healthy and light-filled path. It is my wish truly that you come to understand that the struggles you're going through are not the will of loving divine beings. It is not something that they take pleasure in. It is not something that they enjoy. No one does. I don't either. And I really, 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 really hope, I don't care who you turn to. I really don't. If you believe or not believe, that's really none of my business. That is up to you. But there are things that have happened, as you know, that are simply not healthy for an individual to have endured and to make others endure. I would say to you, from both my friend and myself, that I really wish you a happy life, and I really, 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 really hope that you will come to realize in time that things happen for a reason. They happen for a reason, and it will not always appear to be for our benefit. And I figured it was a very, fitting rune to attach this message to, because that is what Hagalaz is about. It is about disruption, interruption. It is about resistance, which you are facing right now. And I really, really hope that you overcome the things that you're struggling with. I really do. But I have a little poem that I wish to read you. I have a poem that I wish to read to you. From icy north, a man uncouth, a wanderer in hostile land. Hateful words sprung from the traveler's mouth. Many wrongs being deeds. No. From icy north, a man uncouth, a wanderer in hostile land. Hateful words sprung from the traveler's mouth. Many wrong deeds from the weary man's hand. Through space and time the traveling one spake, found a path that satiated greed for gain's sake. Soon the crowd did not fall upon his foolish brow. A taste and a lust for power the wanderer had now. Doom came upon many a head that crossed the wicked smile. The front of a friend, the face of a liar, an innocent slain through wicked wile, earning many a man's ire. Lust for power, a grab for might, blackened spirits to show him light. Soon the wanderer found himself eager to fight, a twisted eye to make wrong seem right. With jealous pride and greedy envy, donned the mantle of damning strife, making violent entry, twisted carefully the treacherous knife. An eye did fall on frozen lore, a script left lost to time, stained by boot of later yore, as the bells tolled, the traveler heard them chime. Voice rang forth a call to arms, looking to a fallen star, the wanderer lost in his fortress of pride, by the voice he did abide. Strife soon followed in the wanderer's wake, for vaunted pride's pointless sake. Assailed the walls of another's castle, without provocation he did hassle. Now I speak for Hall on high, the trident shall pierce the ring. Against wanderer who attacked, without a valid why, triumphant hymns we all shall sing. To you, beloved brother, I speak this message. I speak this to you with Galder, with words of truth. Know this, and I hope the rest of your days may be blessed, my friend.